So just a little more clarity around that. MAGA folks are saying that the people with H1B visas are taking their jobs too? Girl, dear MAGA folks, y'all do not qualify for the jobs of the H1B visa people. It's high tech. It's a different tax bracket, honey.
So let me get this straight. Republicans destroy education in this country by limiting our resources. Teachers are not paid enough. Kids are unsafe in school because of Republican policies. Republicans tell you college is a scam and that it's impossible to have free tuition. But now they're mad at tech companies who can't find enough American workers to do their jobs because of the reasons I just mentioned, and how they're inviting college-educated international workers to apply for work in America.
So for you MAGA simpletons, let me see if I've got this one straight. You guys voted to deport the immigrants that come in and do the vast majority of the shit work in the US. Low level, low pay. And you want Americans to do those jobs because in your simple fucking mind, you think that the immigrants were taking those jobs away from Americans. And at the same time, you voted for Trump and Elon to increase H1B visas so immigrants can come in from other countries and do the high-level work in the US, and they do it for less money. So that means Americans are going to get less of those high-paying jobs. So make your fucking minds up.
They're not even in office yet and they're already at each other's throats. This is actually what y'all voted for. Because let's get real. It's not going away. And I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. But we're about to have 4 years of MAGA civil war.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the MAGA Civil War unfolding in 2025. What happens when a movement built on unity and loyalty to one man begins to tear itself apart? Across the United States, MAGA supporters are turning against each other, splitting into factions and accusing one another of betrayal and waging a civil war from within. This isn't just political theater, it's chaos in real time. Stick around because we are diving into the infighting that's unraveling the moment that once vowed to make America great again. If you're new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing and see you in a bit after this.
Well, that didn't take long. MAGAs are in a civil war with each other right now. Apparently, according to Heather Cox Richardson, a very smart historian from the United States who writes a newsletter, which you should definitely check out. There's like two sides of the MAGA camp now. One is the low information white voter who is definitely immigration negative. And then there's the tech bros, which helped Trump get elected because they spent a lot of money on his campaign, like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and people like that. And they are all into creating more places for immigrant tech workers to come to the United States on temporary visas, which of course upsets the MAGA crowd, the America First MAGA crowd, because they are just saying things like, well, why do we need tech people from overseas? I thought there was all kinds of tech people being laid off recently. Why aren't we hiring them? And then the tech bros are saying, yeah, well, the American engineers aren't as good as the foreign engineers. And, and then the MAGA people are going, well, we like our engineers white. We don't want brown engineers here in the United States. What about America First? So this thing is getting a little bit ugly. In fact, Vivek Ramaswamy said, and he posted that tech companies hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers rather than native-born Americans because American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. He called for more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chillin', more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Well, may I ask, what is more American than hanging out at the mall? Go MAGAs. Go. Get each other. You can do this.
So let me get this straight. Republicans destroy education in this country by limiting our resources. Teachers are not paid enough. kids are unsafe in school because of Republican policies. Republicans tell you college is a scam and that it's impossible to have free tuition, but now they're mad at tech companies who can't find enough American workers to do their jobs because of the reasons I just mentioned, and how they're inviting college-educated international workers to apply for work in America. They're mad that people from other countries would rather bring their talents here to come stimulate our economy because clearly we need their help rather than start their own successful businesses and technologies in their own countries. I mean, what the hell is going on here? While I don't support any faction of the dangerous MAGA party when it comes to this civil war between tech bro MAGA and regular MAGA, led by Elon Musk and Laura Loomer, Elon Musk definitely has a point. We need legal immigration to allow the best people from around the world to help stimulate our economy and improve our country. Closing doors to people would be a mistake, and you know the real reason why people like Laura Loomer don't want people coming to our country. You know what I'm talking about.
So who do y'all think is going to win between MAGA and Elon and Vivek? So if you haven't heard, there's this whole discourse. Laura Loomer called out Elon and Vivek for wanting to push for H1B visas, which is like a temporary work visa. And they use these a lot in their companies because they're able to employ immigrants to come and work on a temporary status. So it's really big in tech. It's supposed to be for like highly skilled labor, engineers, that kind of thing. So these capitalists, they use these because they are able to get highly skilled labor at a reduced rate. And so Vivek is basically saying, of course we need to do this because Americans don't value education. It's much harder to train you guys, and it's a culture thing, and you know, all this, and MAGA is losing it. They're losing it because they're like, wow, you should just train us to do these jobs. Like, this is America. These should be American jobs. You should not be pushing for more immigration, and especially not immigration from them brown countries. So now MAGA, y'all, what y'all want some affirmative action? Is that what we need to do? Oh wait, maybe we can push DEI, get some diversity in there, because if they're hiring all the brown people from India, we could push for DEI and get white males. That would be the diversity. Like, oh, but wait, we rolled that back, and affirmative action too. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
So for you MAGA simpletons, let me see if I've got this one straight. You guys voted to deport the immigrants that come in and do the vast majority of the shit work in the US. Low level, low pay. And you want Americans to do those jobs because in your simple fucking mind you think that the immigrants were taking those jobs away from Americans. And at the same time, you voted for Trump and Elon to increase H1B visas so immigrants can come in from other countries and do the high-level work in the US, and they do it for less money. So that means Americans are going to get less of those high-paying jobs. So make your fucking minds up. Do you want Americans to have high-paying, high-quality jobs or not? It's a simple question, and one that you seem to be so fucking confused on.
So just a little more clarity around that. MAGA folks are saying that the people with H1B visas are taking their jobs too? Girl, dear MAGA folks, y'all do not qualify for the jobs of the H1B visa people. It's high tech. It's a different tax bracket, honey. You do not qualify for those jobs, girl. And so, and I know this because in college, I worked in the Office of International Student Services, where I was collecting the checks from international students. And international students, they have to pay in cash, baby. The check has to clear before they do anything else. And then afterwards, once you graduate, in the in-between, you look for a job. And then the company that you are going to work for has to sponsor you, which means that company has to pay for you to be here. Y'all don't, MAGA, your brains are working in too many realms in which you don't have access to. Stop it. H1B, above your tax bracket. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Elon Musk has proposed opening up free, unlimited migration between India and the United States to allow for highly skilled workers to come and fill tech jobs from India, whilst allowing US workers to go over to India and fill roles that are more their speed, like servants. The idea came after the Republican Party began to implode after Vivek Ramaswamy and Musk suggested that they should expand the H1N1 visa program. That program allows foreign foreign, highly skilled workers to come to the USA and be paid like shit, usurping those very jobs out from under hard-working Americans. Unfortunately, this suggestion has not gone well because although the billionaire elite would like to have a high-skilled, underpaid workforce, these people aren't white, which directly clashes with the core beliefs of MAGA Americans. This has led to an ensuing war where Elon Musk has suggested deporting all low-skill, low-tech workers from the United States to India and replacing them with high-skilled, high-tech workers but don't want to be paid that much from India. With the core of MAGA now retaliating and saying if we're going to be deporting immigrants, let's start with Elon Musk, who's here illegally, and Vivek Ramaswamy as well.
Elon Musk sparked a MAGA civil war over the holidays, and it has me laughing my ass off. We have no time to waste. Let's jump in with this tweet that says, Trump isn't even in office yet, and his coalition has already started to crumble. In the past 2 days, there's been a big debate about legal immigration to the US. Tech bros like Elon Musk, David Sachs, and others want more immigrants to work in their companies. But the MAGA base is fiercely opposed to any kind of immigration, legal or illegal. Soon, Trump will have to choose between upsetting his loyal supporters or the tech bros who helped fund his campaign. Either way, it won't end well for him. And it feels so good. It feels so good to be right because everybody watching this, including me, we've been pointing out for months that inevitably this new coalition of Elon Musk and all of these MAGA populists is going to implode when all of their interests begin to conflict. We know that Elon Musk is only doing this to further his own interests. So what happens when he plays his hand or he oversteps a little bit too much and all of the other MAGA populists begin to realize, wait a minute, this is the richest man in the world. Why is he dictating policy for us? And I'll show you what Elon Musk said in 1 second, but some of these reactions are hilarious. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Donald Trump is not even back in the White House yet, and the MAGA movement is already falling apart and going to war with itself because when it comes to fascism, there is no such thing as pure enough. What I mean by that is that once the fascist movement have run out of people to fight, they will inevitably start to fight each other and start denouncing one another as you're not pure enough, you're not good enough, you're not meant to be in this movement, we're the real ones, you're the fake ones, you're the contaminant, etc. And that can be seen now with Elon Musk, who is one of the major elements in Trump's victory and one of the biggest backers of the MAGA movement at the moment, massively falling out with all of them and threatening war with them because he's only suddenly realised that it's the party of racism and anti-immigration. Sounds to count the hateful, unrepentant racists. That's a lot of people you're going to need to kick out. The only reason Elon sided with the MAGA movement was because it was politically convenient, and now he's suddenly realising that it's a mob of disorganised lunatics who will immediately turn on each other, including him, the moment anyone smells a little bit of blood or shows a little bit of weakness. And Elon's response to all of this is to immediately start censoring and attacking the conservative organisations who he would be reposting and boosting before going, yes, this is very interesting, this is something everyone should see. And it's like now he's just attacking them because he's not capable of handling criticism or debate. He'll just baby rage and try and censor everyone because that's what you do when you're a billionaire who's not had a proper job or a proper life. Like, that's the only reason he bought a social media platform, so that he could control the dialogue, because he doesn't like it when people say nasty things. Real tough Christian man. Yeah, all of this coming in the aftermath of everyone accusing Elon of being the real president and Trump being this kind of junior partner in the whole thing. It does not bode well for the stability of Trump's administration going forward. In fact, he may need to pick another cabinet because this one looks like it's about to fall apart. Follow for more.
The MAGA civil war continues to rage here in the United States of America, but the war is actually a little more intense than I think a lot of people realize. Because right now, when you hear people talk about the MAGA civil war going on, you probably immediately assume it's the fight that Elon Musk started about the H1B visa program. You know, you've got Elon Musk and Donald Trump on one side, you've got Steve Bannon, Laura Loomer, and all these right-wing influencers on the other, fighting over the H1B visa program. And yes, that is a big part of it, and it is the most public part of this MAGA civil war. But believe it or not, that is actually not the most important part of the civil war taking place, not just within the MAGA movement, but within the Republican Party itself. Because the lesser-known battles in this civil war are currently taking place in the House of Representatives. Right now, today, Thursday, January 2nd, Republicans and Democrats who won their elections in November are heading to Washington, D.C. because tomorrow they don't get sworn in. They're supposed to get sworn in tomorrow. But in order to get sworn in, something important has to happen first. They have to elect a Speaker of the House. And because Republicans, based on the numbers, only have 2 votes to spare before the whole thing goes to hell. They don't have the numbers right now to elect a Speaker of the House. Even with Donald Trump coming out earlier this week and endorsing Mike Johnson to continue on in the role, there are still Republicans who say, we're not sold. Thomas Massie is one of them. Massie has said that he's not sure. He thinks, by the way, that Donald Trump's endorsement of Mike Johnson is going to go just as well as his endorsement of Paul Ryan, is what he posted on Twitter the other day. So Massie is one of them. Don't know if it's going to happen. The other Republicans who are not sold on Johnson yet, Tim Burkett of Tennessee, Rich McCormick of Georgia. So right there, that's more than you need to tank the speakership vote. 3. If you had 2, you tank the speakership vote. You got 3, suddenly you got an even bigger deal, and these are just the 3 named. We know that there are more behind the scenes because they're mad at Mike Johnson for passing that budget deal. We don't want you as speaker. You're weak. You're ineffective. You bow down to Democrats, allegedly, because you kept the government running. But that fight is brewing. And as I've mentioned in the past, and the media is now starting to pick up on this too, the hilarious thing is that if Republicans do not get that speaker elected before January 6th, then none of the members of Congress get sworn in. And if they're not sworn in by January 6th, they can't certify the 2024 election results, which means that electoral certification gets pushed down the road. And if it gets pushed down the road far enough, which I do not think will happen, but it would be hilarious, then Donald Trump's entire inauguration gets delayed. So, yeah, they've got a real problem. This little civil war is way more intense than just, oh, we don't want the visas. No. That's the distraction war. The real war is taking place in the House of Representatives. And it's so bad that it threatens Donald Trump's electoral victory certification. That, to me, honestly, though, is probably going to mean that's going to play the biggest role in settling this. Republicans don't want that to happen. And I don't think that they're willing to draw Trump's wrath by delaying his certification. Mike Johnson will probably eventually be the speaker. Is it going to happen on the first vote? Probably not. But I imagine it's not going to take them too long to get their ducks in a row. Only for the sake of getting the election certified and having the inauguration happen on schedule. But after that, the war is going to wage on. And I don't know if Johnson will be able to keep the speakership. He may suffer the same fate as Kevin McCarthy. But for now, they will, I do believe, put their differences aside just to keep Trump happy for the next month. Then after that,
first of all, guys, let's talk about how we got here. The MAGA movement was built around Donald Trump, a single unifying figure who promised to take on the establishment and restore America's greatness. For years, that loyalty held strong, but now that loyalty is fracturing. Trump loyalists are crashing with other conservatives, and the once powerful movement is eating itself alive. Look at the infighting among the movement leaders. Trump loyalists are turning on DeSantis supporters. Influencers who once shared the same stage are accusing each other of being traitors, grifters, and worse. And don't get me started on the conspiracy theories. These people used to aim them at outsiders. Now they're aiming them at each other. Everyone's accusing everyone else of being a rhino, a deep state plant, and secretly working for the enemy. And what about Trump? Instead of quelling the chaos, he's fueling it. His endorsements have sparked backlash from his own supporters. His attacks on former allies are creating even more divisions. This is a movement that was built on loyalty to one man, and now even that loyalty is starting to look shaky. So who's left standing in this mess? You've got the hardcore Trump loyalists who will follow him no matter what. Then there is those jumping the ship to DeSantis or others rising the star. And let's not forget the extremists who've gone further off deep end, creating splinter groups that make the original MAGA movement look tame by comparison. So what does this all mean? Is this just the natural evolution of a movement that was always bound to implode, or is this chaos exactly what MAGA was meant to be all along? One thing is clear: what used to be a force of political unity has turned into a civil war. And the question now isn't who will win, it's whether there will be anything left when the dust settles. What do you think? Is it the end of MAGA as we know it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. Thank you very much for choosing us today. If you're new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing. See you in the next episode.